What's your name?
Terri Lassiter.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
What are you doing nowadays?
I am a school counselor.
This whole concept is talk to a younger or older version of yourself. Which one are you going to choose to talk to?
I'm going to talk to both.
What are you saying to Terri Lassiter?
To the younger Terri, I would say to trust the process and that there is a method to the madness and to trust God. And I say that because there are a lot of experiences that I have had in the past that I didn't understand at the moment. But in hindsight, they have prepared me for who I am now and for the future as well. One of the experiences, starting off with being, well, when I was younger, I wouldn't say that I was defiant. I would say I was a pretty good child. And in high school, I got into a more of a rebellious stage, I would say. And there were moments where I was kind of angry and I acted out of anger in a lot of situations. And by the time it was time to graduate from high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but my cousin talked me into going to college. And I ended up going to South Carolina State, which I do not know why I went there because that was not on my radar. Like I said, college wasn't, it was, I knew it was a part of the plan, but I wasn't actively searching to go to college. So when I got there, it was kind of like, okay, I'm here now, and what do I do? So I got there, and being an only child and used to being around my mom all the time, I would go to class during the weekend, go right back home. And during that time, I met a lot of people, my husband included. So when I met my husband, which was unexpectedly, it was in an unexpected way, which it was funny, but it was in an unexpected way. And looking back in that moment, that was a moment where I knew that there was purpose in that. And during that time, we weren't actually together at all. We were friends. And by the time we became friends, he didn't even attend the school anymore. He had already transferred to another school. So I finished college, I graduated, and I thought that I wanted to go to law school after I graduated from undergrad. And after completing an internship, that went out the window. So I went back to grad school and I went for counselor education, and I graduated in 2 years. Towards the end or the middle of my last year of graduate school, I met a guy who was a mutual friend of me and another one of my friends. And we got together, and it was at a time in my life where I was trying to find out who I really was and who I was going to be post graduation, because I had a plan for myself. And during that time, I was reading my Bible really heavy. I was praying really heavy, asking God for guidance as far as where He wanted me to go and what He wanted me to do. And during that time, He kind of like swooped in my journey where I was trying to find myself. And when He came in, He was kind of everything that you would want in a guy. But as of right now, I'm a firm believer that before you get the real thing, you get the counterfeit. And at the time, he seemed like he was the perfect guy, but in due time, it slowly unraveled. During the time that we were together, he had told me, and I'll spare any names, but he told me that he had just left a relationship and he had could have possibly had a daughter. So while we were in the process of getting to know one another, I respected the fact that he did tell me that he had a child. And during that time, everything was good. But then, of course, it was time for the child to be born. So when the child was born, he found out that the child was, in fact, his. And I felt like at that time that I had already given up so much of myself to accommodate this man. And then on top of him finding out that the child was his, I would say a month or two after that, I found out that he was expecting another child with the same girl. So, of course, during that time, I was devastated. And I feel like that was a big blow for me. But I felt like that was an experience that I had to have because it definitely shaped and molded me into someone who knew what they wanted, what they would accept, what they wouldn't accept. And at that time, which was a very low point for me, my now husband was still a friend of mine during that time. And I would call him and talk to him as a friend. And it was just one day, God was like, if you are able to do this with this man and you're able to speak to this man about things that you're going through with someone else, and he's able to help you in this way and you're able to connect in this way, then this is where you need to be. And I kind of was afraid to step out on faith again. Even though I had heard from God, the human part of me was still not ready to open up myself to something else. And I'll never forget that when me and my husband first got back together, we planned a trip to go to Virginia. And I don't think I ever told him this, but we planned a trip to go to Virginia. And like we planned this trip like months ahead. And the week of when we were supposed to go to on the trip, I was like, no, I can't do this. And I was sitting at my dining room table and I was like, I cannot go with him anywhere. I cannot do anything with him because I'm just not going to open up myself again. And I opened up my Bible, and one of the scriptures that I read was, perfect love casts out fear. So I already knew what God had spoken to me about him. And I knew that if I was going to walk into what God had for me, I had to let the fear go. And I did. And we pursued our relationship. And the following year, we got engaged. And we have been married for 6 months now. And that's just another testament to 5 months, 6 months, 6 months now. And that's just a testament to trusting God and trusting the process and knowing that there's a method to the madness. And I would say to my future self that there is a plan for you. And if you just trust God and continue to walk in the way that He'd have you go, you'll be fine.